Hey internet, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a Priceline haul for you guys. If you are watching from America, which I know most of the people watching this video are from America, the only way you can describe Priceline, it is kind of like an Ulta. It is pink, so it's not orange. I don't know if Ulta does like pharmaceutical stuff. Some Pricelines in Australia, they have like a pharmacy attached to them. They might also have a medical clinic attached to them. So I feel like it kind of treads the line of pharmacy slash makeup a little bit. It depends which store you go to. Some are heavier focused on makeup and some are heavier focused on lifestyle, stuff like that. But to me, Priceline is like the ultimate place to get drugstore makeup. Similar to what you can get at a supermarket, but just like heaps more variety. So I picked up a few products, nothing too much to be honest, now that I'm looking at everything down here. But yeah, let's go through everything. The first ones I wanted to talk about were from Milani. So Milani is not a brand I've associated with Australia. Granted, let's just say I've been out of the buying makeup phase for a long time. So I don't know when Milani hit Australian shores. I'm sure much sooner than I thought, but I used to always have to buy Milani when I went to America. And I only ever heard of it on YouTube. So when I saw that they were in Priceline, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Probably very late to the game, but still very cool. So the first products I bought were some of these palettes. This one is the Milani Gilded Nude. It's an eyeshadow palette. To be honest, when I saw this, it was the most nude palette. There was like two or three others. And I saw Tati had reviewed one that was more purplish. That looked really good, but I knew that it wasn't likely to be a palette I would use super often. What I really do like is that whilst this is considered a nude palette, there are some pops of color in here. Like you've got this green, a little bit of red, slight rosy colors here, but nothing too extreme. So it's kind of like a neutral palette that pushes me out of my comfort zone. It's not like a true warm or neutral palette. So I thought I would try it out. When I swatched this, generally okay. Like I wouldn't say I was blown away by it, but I will say that swatching eyeshadows and applying them on your eyes are quite different. So this really can only kind of give you what its optimal color is going to look like. But when you apply it, even the texture and the quality is different. So it could be completely different. I've heard a lot of good things. I will say that the shimmer shades swatched really nicely, so I'm excited to try those. I'm really excited to figure out how to use this green. So the green feels like it's much more of a glitter shade than it is. Like these other ones down here seem more like shimmer shades, but this feels like it could be more of a topper. Very excited to try this. The other palette I got from Milani is more of a face palette. It's, I think there was two face palettes, like a light medium, which is this one, and then a medium dark. So I picked the light medium, and I would say generally, so I did actually use a few of these. Actually, one of these, the matte blush down here is the blush I'm currently wearing, and I really love this blush. I love the shimmery one as well, but they just so happen to lean into the sort of color range that I personally love. Like they're more coral-like blushes, and I love coral blushes. I just feel like it suits my skin tone much better. Coral pink, not too orangey, more on the pinky side. So I think these blushes are going to be great. This highlighter is a little bit golden for me, but I haven't tried it on my skin yet, so I'm keen to try that. The bronzer, however, not sure I'm going to use this, but I think it would work really great as a eyeshadow transition shade. So I think I'm probably going to use it more for that. And then you've got your three eyeshadows in the middle. Everything here swatched really well. I haven't used the eyeshadows yet, but I feel like these four will probably be more like eyeshadow for me. But I don't know, there's something about face palettes that have really been appealing to me. And I think it's because we're going to start looking into starting up traveling again. But also, like, the pandemic is not essentially over. It's still going. So that does make me feel a little bit more, maybe we won't travel anywhere too far. Maybe we'll just stick to within Australia, maybe road trips. I don't know. Either way, traveling makes me think of palettes and lighter makeup. And because I haven't traveled in so long, I almost feel like I've forgotten how to pack makeup for trips. But I feel like something like this, or the other one I'm eyeing right now is the Charlotte Tilbury face palettes. Though I don't know whether they still make them, because I feel like I've only seen them on the Charlotte Tilbury website. I haven't seen them on any of the websites that I regularly go to buy Charlotte Tilbury, like Mecca or Selfridges. So anyways, I digress. The whole point is that you don't need to be carrying around a ton of different products. It's all kind of just here. So that's why the face palettes have been appealing to me. That's why I wanted to try this one out. Last two products from Milani are these baked blushes. So one is in Dolce Pink and one is in Luminoso. I actually already have Luminoso, but I've been using it so much. And I bought it, I bought it when I was in America. It was one of the first products I picked up because Milani's Luminoso is like this cult favorite online. So obviously when I went to America, it was like the first Milani product I picked up. But you can see there's like one, the Dolce Pink is much more pink, though it does have like a really nice sheen to it. And then Luminoso is a little bit more like orangey coral, I would say. But it's coral, but it leans more orange. The reason I picked up another Luminoso is because I've been using the one I currently have so excessively. And so I thought I just picked this up because I love backups. However, I don't know if it's just me. I feel like this looks different to the old Luminoso. Let me go grab the one I'm currently using. I'm just really keen to compare. Okay, I'm not going crazy. They actually look really different. So this is the new one that I purchased, and then this is the old one. You can see it's kind of like wearing out a little bit, but they look in the pans very different as well. Okay, I'm gonna try and hopefully it doesn't fall apart. But do you see how this is the old one and this is the new one? I'm kind of shocked at this one. It doesn't look, they look different, like really different. And I love this one so much that I'm kind of scared it's going to run out. And if this is the new one, well, let me swatch them and see. But yeah, even the old one has like this little compact here where you can have a mirror and then an applicator, which you can see I don't use the applicator. I hardly use the applicators that come with makeup, to be honest. And this one is just like standard blush, which I actually prefer packaging like this. It's much easier and simplistic for me. But let's try this out. Okay, hopefully this picks up. I'm not too close to the light, but this is the older version. This is the newer version. And I feel like the older version is a little bit more pink, like has a little bit more pinkiness to it, whereas the newer version is more orange. So they actually are different. I don't know how I feel about that. The whole point of me picking up Luminoso again is because I love the original so much, and I was kind of concerned I was going to run out because I used it so extensively. Although like now I'm looking at it like, what, are you crazy? It can take you ages to finish that. I don't know how I feel. I wonder if this is an Australian thing or this is like everywhere. Like even in America you can't pick up the old formula anymore. And I'm sure people have mentioned this, right? Like it kind of just been, no one has noticed that the new Luminoso is different to the old one. Oh well, such is life. So moving on to the next brand I picked up is one called Revolution. So I don't quite know if there's a difference between Revolution and Makeup Revolution. Are they the same brand or are they separate brands? Because when you go to the Priceline website, they list them as separate brands. So I just assumed they were, but then the packaging, the font, everything kind of looks similar. So I have no idea. And then sometimes, like I know it's just the way the information architecture is set out for these e-commerce websites. I work in e-commerce, so I know that categorization of products is like a huge thing, and it can be very difficult. And if you're like really into the subject matter, it doesn't feel difficult. You're like, well, that clearly is the same brand. But to a lot of like buyers and category managers, it may not be obvious to them. That's why sometimes products look like they're categorized weirdly online, even if it doesn't make sense. Anyways, I digress. I picked up 3 products from Revolution. I don't know if they're the same as Makeup Revolution. Even the website seems different. Anyways, I picked up 2 highlighters, and I don't know anything about these highlighters. I haven't read anything online, but they look so cool. Like this texture is like fabric, like silk fabric or something like that. So when I saw them on the Priceline website, I'm like, I want to try these. These look so nice. I'm actually using this one, the lighter version, just my type, on my cheeks at the moment, and I really love it. They're both actually quite light. This is a little bit more champagne-y. This one's a little bit more pinky, but they're both super light. They swatch really lovely. I can already tell these are going to be great highlighters that I'm going to love. The last product I picked up was this little eyeshadow palette. So you would have seen in a couple videos ago, I did a Sephora haul video, and I picked up the Huda Beauty Nude Palette in Light. And so when I saw this one, I'm like, is this the same thing? Because it's by Revolution, but it says nudes and it's light. So I feel like they would like kind of copying. I don't know, actually. I shouldn't say that because I don't know who came up with what first. But you kind of always assume that the expensive brand came up with the idea first and then the more affordable brand followed suit after. I could be totally wrong, but I have both palettes here, so I can kind of do a quick comparison. They're like very similar. Very, very similar. However, I have tried both palettes because I was very curious. Oh my gosh, now that I look at it, I'm like, how are they able to get away with this? I guess it's so similar, but it's different at the same time. So I have used both palettes. I swatched both of them. I will say that the quality for the Huda Beauty is definitely better. It's more pigmented. The mattes are creamier. I have found that the Revolution palette, the reality is this is actually a really good dupe. And this in Australian dollars, this was $12, whereas the Huda Beauty version was $44. So it's a big price difference. I'd say if you wanted to try that, but you don't want to pay $44, try this instead. It's a good price point, and I'd say that the shadows feel like they were pressed harder, so you kind of have to work a little bit more to get the pigmentation you like. However, some people like hard pressed powders, like not too hard, but like enough that you can get a nice sheer wash without like being overwhelmed with pigmentation, because there are some palettes that I feel like people are like, oh, it's so buttery, it's so creamy, but let's be honest, we don't all wear makeup like YouTubers do, where it's like really heavy colors and you want like ultimate pigmentation. Not everyone, like I would say like the everyday person probably doesn't wear makeup, but the everyday person does not want to have that level of pigmentation. It's also very hard to work with if you're not comfortable with makeup in general. So sometimes harder pressed powders in that sense work better. And in that sense, that's what I like about this one, is that I could see myself using this quite, to be honest, I'm going to use both because I bought both and I'm not going to waste them. But this just makes getting lighter looks much easier. So yes, that is everything I picked up from Priceline. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. This is Celina reporting from my room. Back to you, internet.